I could have all of your attention, we're gonna have a ceremony starting on the far side, on the Makai side, in honor of Queen Liliuokalani. So Halau Ku Mana is going to be doing the ceremonies and the protocols, and we would like to invite all of you to participate in honoring our Queen and remembering the things that happened in the past and our hope to make things pono again in Hawaii. So if all of you could join us on the far side as we give honor to Liliuokalani, and then we'll come back later to do our program on this side. So please join us on the far side at Liliuokalani's statue for some ceremonies in honoring our Queen Liliuokalani. Aloha.
Did I get a picture?
Alright, Hiki, we're sneaking in the back door with the whole ulu kaulu. Trying to get those guys to take it out of the university's hands and give it back to the community. That's a fine thing. Alright, Hiki.
So go back to the table back there right behind this tree and get more information on the Army downsizing. This is initiated by the Army itself, and there's a lot of opportunities for us to get involved with this and to show support for this, but it's going to definitely take us coming together as much as we've come together for issues like GMO. So that's one thing. So Uncle Liko's ready. Mahalo Nui will be back up talking about other issues throughout the day.
1 second. I just want to clarify, when we talk about MANA, Movement for Aloha no Ka Aina, we didn't actually come out of the university. We came out of the community. We came out of the streets, and we came together to form an organized movement of Hawaiians that had common politics and good analysis. So MANA is really a conglomerate of people in the community and not just university-centric. However, for myself, I came out of the street and I went into the university, and I can promise you I'm going back out into the street. Yeah, but I just want to close in one thing in saying that all of these issues that we talk about, GMO issues, farming, agriculture, land issues, we're always talking about Hawaiian issues. And so we want to recognize and understand the people of this land, the Aboriginal host culture, and how can we unite and acknowledge our role in these issues with the common interest of everyone in Hawaii. Yeah? And I've said this before, I'll say it again. All of these issues for us as Hawaiians are sovereignty issues. These are issues that are related to our ability to have control of our lands, of how we live, of our resources. And if we don't address these issues from a Hawaiian perspective of sovereignty, then we'll be back here every year, and it's just like taking aspirin for cancer. Mahalo.
Okay, so I'd like to ask Loretta to come up, and the traditional, for those who cannot understand the language like myself, who had to sneak around the corner to hear my kupunas, we know the language that we walk, and this language we know, and this song has brought us to this point today. Okay.
Aloha. Aloha ku moku o ka ho'olave. Mai kino I ko inoa o kanaloa. Ko he mala lau kana ka ole. Ke mai nā pua e ho o malu mai. My love for Kaho'olawe we bring. In Kaho'olawe, the southern beacon, Kanaloa was your name in the beginning. And now we come to bring you peace. E ho o malu mai. Alulike, alulike kako, lahui o Hawaii, pull together. Mai ka la I hiki mai, I ka la ka ua e kupa. Ahai, ko I kaika nā kanaka. Kauli I mako nui
pull together from the sun up till sundown. And our ahahai, what we talk of, Pono. And although our numbers were few then, and our numbers seem to be few now, our love for the land is great. Hano hano, hano hano, na pua, hui alalo, no ke kaua kauholo, me ka aupuni, paapu ka mana o, ano ka pono, no ka aina. Famous hui alaloa, the long blade. We're taking it to the time of now, from the past to the future. And the ones who have been taking this fight and stand kawa, the warriors, Molokai to the lead, and all the islands joined in. And the next hano hano is for all Hawaii. Kupuna came to the Ahu on January 17th from all the islands, and they said, we need our land and our water and haloa. That's all we need. So hano hano o Hawaii, hano hano na pua o Hawaii nei. Ke kaua kauholo me ka aupuni kumaai no kaina I mua na pua halana kila ka olave aloha aloha moku o ka ho'olave. Drag
burning deep within the fire of the good earth.
Of so many confrontations between maka'ainana, between people and the government, whether it was the kingdom government or the provisional government or the republic or the territory or this state. This is a place where people come to contest those governing entities when, especially when they are not doing right by the people. And this gathering today is about that. It is about telling this legislature and the newly elected governor that they come into a place that is holy, that is sacred, that is a place that protects and honors the voices and the will of the people. Now, the people don't always win. We didn't get our kingdom back immediately after 1893. We couldn't prevent the ongoing humiliation of the bayonet constitution. But every now and then the people win. Every now and then the people win. In 1977, in February, George Helm addressed a joint group of the legislature, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and he told them that their refusal to listen to the people and to the gods about Kaho'olawe was an affront. And he said, you know, the Akua can hear us, why can't the politicians? Those were his words. Every now and then, the people win. But whether you win or not, you must always gather, we must always gather and speak. And here we are. We see people have arranged and gotten legislation to protect us from GMOs. You know, the courts may step in, a mayor may step in and veto, but the people's voice will overcome that. We have seen amazing things come out of the kinds of organizing that's being done here. And I'm only going to say one thing about the organization that I'm involved with, KAHEA, the Hawaiian Environmental Alliance. This afternoon, when I'm done speaking here, we're going to take a delegation of people to go up and visit with the governor if he's here, or leave him materials asking him to intervene on Mauna Kea. What this government has done, not just to desecrate that mountain, but really to desecrate their own laws and policies, is an absolute crime. It is absolutely clear that we're talking about a conservation district that has suffered tremendous adverse impacts from the building of those telescopes and from the threat of the 30-meter telescope. And yet, one agency after another has approved it. The University of Hawaii, the Department of Land and Natural Resources, and if we cannot get support and help from the courts, then we're going to ask the governor to intervene. These kinds of things, folks, are what make our people real. This struggle against government, against money, against big businesses doing business on our land. And we can never stop the fight. Whether we're doing this with the state of Hawaii or with the next kingdom of Hawaii, we don't ever stop the fight to protect the rights of the people. I'll do this one song. I did not write it. It was written by Kealoha Beamer, and he wrote this song before there were any telescopes on that mountain. My friends and I would sometimes roam trails of Mauna Kea, and in the evening we come home, see her standing there. The moon moves around her when she sleeps. The clouds stand beside her when she weeps. And I could be forgotten and 1,000 miles away, and still I would recall the beauty Mauna Kea. And I live in the city now, and I see different things. In the night when I'm alone, she's in my dreams. The wind is around her when she wakes.
Legislature, you guys cannot go on selling lands, putting stuff on the side, and think we're not aware and we're not trying to do something about it. Governor, if you're listening, I remember talking to you in Maui, and I said, Governor, Mr. Ige, how are you going to deal with the Hawaiian government when it comes about? Now, he didn't become governor at that time. I told him that I voted for Abercrombie because I never trust the regime behind him. But then who can you trust in his state government anyway? So, with that said, I wanna share something really important to every Hawaiian. For the non-Hawaiians, I'm sorry, you're not involved in this right away, but you are involved. But for the native Hawaiians, I want to let you know that if you heard me talking about a native Hawaiian bank about 20 years ago, and that every Hawaiian would be a shareholder of that bank, it's about to happen, everybody. Right now, I was told I could say a few things about it. One is that a holding company is being set up for distribution of shares to every Hawaiian. The second thing is that we're going to have to be traveling to negotiate. Bank of America is the bank that we're dealing with right now. It was a $150 million commitment 20 years ago that was unfulfilled. Now, when Lingo's administration came into office, they let Bank of America think that they completed their $150 million commitment and obligation to Native Hawaiians, and that wasn't true. Now, it's important, Hawaiians, because you gotta know that we get over $12 billion in cash and assets. Now, banks get a 10-to-1 leverage on those monies that we have in their banks. That's $100 to $120 billion to lend and invest in a community. Why are we still having problems with our health, our schools? So really, really pay attention. It's coming on, it's coming down. And there's a few steps right now. And the first is putting a holding company together. The next is getting the shares distributed. And seeing our trust to put in monies, to commit some funds to match BOA. BOA has matched, 20 years ago, they matched $3.5 million to start this bank. And we went out to OHA and different trusts to try to match the funds 20 years ago. It never happened. So guess what? We're back again. And I'm really happy to share this with you. For some of you, it might be going over your head, but just know that all 500,000 Hawaiians in the world will get a share in this. We're going to finally have a place to put our money into our banks so that we can get the 10-to-1 capital leverage formula to do the things we need to do in a community. So back to the hand that operates within this whole illegal structure. All we have to do is operate. All we have to do is, don't worry about what they're doing. We just figure out how we gotta come strong. Plenty fires out there. Plenty fires. The islands getting hit, especially like Molokai, Kauai, infringing on the fishing and all that kind of stuff. Hey, these islands cannot make it. There's no more economic development. I believe you gotta leave them alone till we figure out something. And I believe our Hawaiian government will make that happen. Really believe that. So I'm kind of, I overexcited because there are plenty of people around here that has put a lot of their time, their effort, their sacrifices from family to their lives. And all I like see us work together, that's all. Otherwise I go run back in the mountain and just stay out there. But no, and just know that I'm doing this for the love of country, our country, not America and not this government, for the love of our country. So, with that said, for all our brothers and sisters in the movement, get plenty over here, leaders, you know, I like to say, hey, if I had done, said some stuff to you guys that was kind of, or if you feel was kind of out of order, e kalamai. So I like to start this thing off this year pretty much straight across the board. And we get plenty of things to look forward to, plenty of things. Back to the GMO, because even that is secondary to my sovereignty. GMO, we was the first GMO. How many of you know Harlan Cleveland? He was the ex-UH president. This is what he said. He said that immigration and intermarriage with Filipinos, Chinese, Japanese, and other workways and mindsets has created the world's most intriguing experiment in the building of a multicultural society. Look at the congressional record, the Apology Bill congressional record, it's in there. So we've been on experiment for the longest time. So you GMO supporters, we know what GMO is. The planet hapa Hawaiians, hapa Chinese, hapa Filipino. That's what we went through for GMO. In fact, I don't see too many supporters for GMO over here. I want to get us Kanakas. Anyway, aloha. Thank you for listening and Happy New Year, everybody. Maybe we have one better one.
Asked to come here to present to those in attendance about a process that's been ongoing now in Hawaii for over 16 years. And that was in March 13, 1999, Kanaka Maoli from all over the island chain had gotten together to reinstate the former government that was overthrown. And since that time, we have continually constructed our citizen base, our legislation, passing laws, and exercising the rights that every sovereign nation actually possess and can exercise. And we have been encountered, obviously, with different legal perceptions as to what rights really are. So I was asked by Walter to come. He told me I can share with you anything I wanted to share with you. And this is what I came to, share. That one, I think us Kanaka Maoli people should realize that as much as this place is as beautiful as it is, constructive-wise, it's not in our interest to have this continue to exist. The question is, if we're not going to have this exist, then what should we do? As a Kanaka Maoli, I definitely encourage every one of you Kanaka Maolis out there to just understand that if you planning on making change, serious change in Hawaii, it's not going to come out of these halls. Okay? It's going to come out of a government that has the right, has the authority to make these changes. To the GMO people, I know for myself, that our government would not support, manipulating all of our God-given plants, our herbs, our food sources here in Hawaii. It doesn't make no sense to us. I'm not an expert on what is wrong with GMO, but certainly the information that I've been able to gather, hasn't been to our favor. So if you're asking if the Kingdom of Hawaii would support GMO, as the elected Prime Minister, I believe that our government would not support such an effort, okay? Secondly, I was introduced to you as the elected Prime Minister. Okay? And I stand here before you, because since March 13, 1999, we have conducted 4 elections statewide. We don't have the resources, the funds that say the Office of Hawaiian Affairs have, or the state legislature have. But we do have a drive that we've instilled into each other. Those that are involved with reinstating their country, we accept the challenge, that's one day our Kanaka people going to wake up and realize that all we had to do as a people was participate in a government election process to vote for your representatives to serve your government. Okay, so having said that, I'd like to share with you guys that this year, according to our constitutional law, we have to conduct elections to this government every 4 years. Every 4 years. Okay, so we have an opportunity to elect representatives to the legislature, nobles to the legislature, and of course, executives. Okay, in this case, the Prime Minister. We also have an elections for the monarch that we've held up until we can get everybody involved and we can finally run that election to vote for our monarch. Okay, so having said that to all in attendance, I'm really encouraging that participation in the lawful Hawaiian government elections will only bonify and unify our people to their former government, their right to political authority, and finally validating the process. So I'm here to encourage everyone who believes that Hawaii should have its sovereignty back. Encourage those who are advocating a form of sovereignty, encourage them to participate in this upcoming election. Put your name in. Let's all finally resolve that issue, and we'll be able to take on more serious matters as we encounter them, such as what to do with GMO. How should we treat our water resources? How should we treat development? As long as you're going to have, like I said, as long as we come in here every year to give them our complaints about our concerns, I believe that this is the wrong forum. So, having said all of that, I'd just like to encourage all you Kanakas. We're on the website, lawfulhawaiiangovernment.com. We will be in your communities, on every island. We just got back from our 40th convention, congressional convention since 1999. So we've organized ourselves. We're coming back out to outreach, get our people to understand. Listen, it ain't as difficult as what people keep telling you. It's a simple process, but it has to be organized. And this is why I'm here to share, to give cocoa to you and say, hey, listen, a lot of the hard work has been done. All we need for you to do, is to realize that if we're going to form a nation, the only way I can see that happening is if all of us get involved with an elections process. And that's what Kanai'olavalu, the state of Hawaii, and our Office of Hawaiian Affairs is trying to shove down our throats. So the option that we saw to offer our people was something very simple. Participate in your lawful Hawaiian government elections, and this can all be over within the upcoming year. Mahalo.
Affordable housing, and on a couple of bills that are coming up where the ledge, or where folks are attempting to sell particular tracts of our national lands, also known as those lands that were never ceded. Trying to sell those. We never allow them to sell our ceded lands, our national lands. We have another musical treat coming up. A Hawaiian nationalist, longtime musician, a Hawaiian historian in his own right, following which will be followed by reports from around the island.
Okay, at this time I'd like to introduce one of our most prolific songwriters who's been at the forefront of Hawaiian consciousness, the Hawaiian kingdom, sovereignty and independence through music. Our own, Palani Vaughn and the King's own. Hey, no, Palani, mahalo. Okay, while Uncle Palani sets up, I'm just gonna ad-lib here a little bit, talk about the importance of the unity of Hawaiian people, but not being confused by what some people will see and use against us as being fractured. And we always use this, people will say, oh, Hawaiians aren't unified. Hawaiians have all these sovereignty groups. As Brother Kalikoa tells us, Brother Kalikoa says, the fact that we have so many different sovereignty groups is testimony to the consciousness of our people. It's testimony to the intelligence. We are Akamai people, we can debate, we can vet our information, our process through our various groups. Having many different sovereignty groups to me is a strength of our people. Diversity. We don't have to all be on one page. We have many pages. When the time is right, we will come together. And I have no doubt on that. But we cannot be seduced or deluded by this idea that, oh, Hawaiians are fractured. We're all united through Aloha Aina. Mahalo.
consciousness of who we are as Lahui had begun back in the early 1960s. Donald Ho, or Don Ho, the singer, often sang songs that glorified our land and excited our people. And a young songwriter at the time went by the stage name Lani Kai, composed this song that caught my attention over the radio after Don Ho had recorded it. Listen to the mission bells, ringing, ringing. Hear Hawaiian people singing, singing. He stands alone. He's watching his own. He's weaving his coconut hat now. Tutukane is weaving his coconut hat. He's watching his people giving, giving, with hearts full of laughter and song. Someday he shall share with a grandchild who'll care, who'll keep on weaving his coconut hat now. Like Tutukane, weave a coconut hat. The face of his islands are changing, changing. The ways of his people are fading, fading. Though his race is a dying, the raging is crying. Your coconut hat now, Tutukane keep on weaving your coconut. Sons and daughters of these islands, are you listening to the voices of our kupuna? In the swirling winds, high on ancient pine, hear them, feel their love, hear them, feel their love. Hear the voices on the wind above the ocean, carried from the whispering surf of timeless seas, chanting mele, sacred to our native Aina, and to the pride our nation once did see. Pride we once did see. Can you hear the voices of our Prakupuna in the midst of this world's toil and strife? Hear them beckoning to us, sisters and brothers. Eho kaika, o mako, eho ora, o wai. Eho ora, o wai. Listen, oh listen, oh hey, na kupa, oh paina. Hear the voices that can rise once more out of me. Excuse me, the fog got me. Oh, rise in strength and purity and love. Strength, purity and love. Listen, oh listen to the voices of our kupuna. Let the rising winds touch you in our kupa. and with them. Throughout this land we love. Ho'olohe e ngā upa. Ho'olohe I ngā rea o ngā kōpuna. Pulamai I Halau Ku Mana. Pulamai I Halau Ku Mana. I wanted to re-echo what Henry Noah was saying. And this is a very brief song. And it speaks to our nation's struggle, which began during King Kalaka's time, and the Dana Constitution, and then extended to our queen, his sister, the Okala. How long must Queen Liliuokalani wait for 122 years of justice terminate? How much longer will America take to act upon its 1993 apology bill and return the kingdom of Hawaii to a queen that it took from her January 17th of 1893 with illegally landed blue jacket U.S. Marines? How long? How long? Arise again, Hawaii, Pono Kealoha, Kupuna voices call us on the way. Pono unite, unite and rise again.
That folks on the Big Island are watching now in the state legislature. The first is that we all read the article written by our new OHA trustee, Lei Ahu'isa. She will be working for a bill to repeal Act 195, the Kanai'olowalu. I and others on the Big Island will be coming to testify on that. And the reason is this. 4 years ago, the state legislature passed a law so that they could help us make a nation. The law didn't come from Hawaiians and it didn't come from OHA. It came from this legislature. And they wrote in the law that our trust would pick up the tab. 4 years later and $5 million spent, we can't get a report on the Royal Commission. We would like an accounting of our $5 million. We understand that 2,000 prisoners were enrolled in a jail in Arizona, but they never came to Puna. They never came to enroll in Pahoa. How could $250,000 be used for trips to the continent to register Hawaiians when we have a state with 360,000 Hawaiians right here? We would like to know, the Kanai'olowalu commissioners, where is our $5 million? And the other question we ask them is, where is the roll? They say there's a roll with over 100,000 people, but no one knows where it is. Is it at OHA? Is it with the elections officer, the lieutenant governor? Is it with the Kanai'olowalu commissioners? And who is on the roll? I came to the legislature. I saw 3 legislators, 1 from the Senate and 2 from the House. I asked them all 3 the same question. Can you tell me what it means to certify the roll? What does that mean? What is certification? One legislator told me the Hawaiian roll is certified. That means every Hawaiian on that list has a birth certificate that says Hawaiian blood. The second legislator I talked to said, no, that's wrong. A few have birth certificate, but the real test is, are you on the list of graduates of the Kamehameha School? The third legislator told me that the first two were wrong, and that they're going to take birth certificate, Kamehameha School graduates, as well as Hawaiian homestead lessee. These are the people that passed the law. They don't know what certification means, neither do we. We would like our $5 million accounted for, and we would like to know where the roll is, whose name is on it, and what certification means. The second reason why Big Island will come to the legislature is this, and this is something to celebrate. You know, a few weeks ago, we picked up the paper and saw that the HECO monopoly is going to expand, and they're going to be acquired by the Next Terror organization. I go, Next Terror? Oh, I know them because the Indians on the continent told me that they are suing the Next Terror for destroying their cultural artifacts when they're developing energy. It is the Colorado River tribes taking the Next Terror group to court in the federal court. The Big Island is meeting now, Hawaiians and non-Hawaiians. Kealoha Estate sitting right next to Olson Estate and Shipman Estate. The farmers, the cattlemen have come in. Pono Kealoha and Hamakua Community Associations. The Big Island Community Council on Rates. And we are deciding that the time has come to say aloha to the HECO. The Big Island organizes now to create its own Big Island community-owned utility. You know we have one in our state. The island of Kauai is not under the HECO monopoly, is not. The island of Kauai has their own community-owned utility. Big Island will go in that direction, and we are all celebrating it, myself included. When I studied the HECO monopoly, I was interested to find out that HECO went to King Kalakaua and said, give us a franchise to control all the energy in Hawaii. Kalakaua said, no, but you can set up on Oahu. When Kalakaua died, HECO came to Queen Liliuokalani, and they told her the same thing. Give us a law recognizing HECO, control all the energy of all the islands. Not only did Liliu say no, but if you check your history, you'll find out that on January 12th, Liliuokalani signed a bill into law saying that the Hawaiian Kingdom would be seizing the assets, purchasing the assets of the HECO, so that energy would be owned by the government of the kingdom. That was January 12th. 5 days later, the Queen was overthrown with the assistance of persons who said they were trying to protect American property rights. I find that very interesting. To this very day, we have the same energy monopoly that tried to get control from our monarchy. We're waiting for the House and Senate. We're looking for Chris Lee and Mike Gabbard. Are you going to put in a bill, gentlemen, to control the HECO monopoly? Or are you just going to continue what you have been doing since the time of the overthrow? We're looking for some accountability here, legislators, and we hope that we will see you with some bill for us, because we're going to be down here. We're calling everybody to come for the issue of energy and for accounting for Kana'i'olowalo. Where is the road? And where is our money? Aloha.
Mililani Trask, talking about the road, the Kana'i'olowalo road. We should be questioning why are we even using that term roll? And where does that term come from? And what are the legal, political implications of a roll? And when we do our research and we look at history, we know the United States has this thing called the Dawes Act. And through the Dawes Act, they created these roles of qualified natives in order to push them off their lands and place them on reservations. The Act 195 that creates this so-called Hawaiian role also has that same language of qualified Hawaiians, which leads us, we must question, if we have qualified Hawaiians, then we must also have unqualified Hawaiians. So the question for me is, who put us in a role, and how is that connected to self-determination? Because we didn't create the role, we didn't create this box of U.S. framework American Indian tribal law. Somebody in this building wrote Act 195 and used that terminology, role. It has very powerful implications, and they're trying to put us in the role. And the only thing we should be concerned about with a role is that as a lahui, that we don't roll over. Yeah, we don't roll over. We want to, as our queen said, oni pa'akako. With that said, I would like to direct your attention to the side here, Auntie Dawn Wasson. Auntie Dawn Wasson here is going, before she has to pack up and leave, she was so gracious to bring her pahu drums. And she's going to lead us in a short oli, and we'd like to honor Auntie Dawn Wasson as she leads us in this chant. Mahalo, Auntie. A prophecy chant that was composed by the great Kaula Kapihi. Yeah? Auntie, you want to share with us? Aloha.
Mahalo na keiki. Kupuna o taruase no wale na aila ina kupuna malai vai. E malama ina keiki. Malama ina olelo Hawaii. E mahalo nui ya kumu na makua ya oko. Nui Kealoha. Nui Kealoha. I am here today for you, the children of Hawaii. We are the kupunas who will ride the way for you and your future. We want to bring the land and the water for you, your children, and those to come. Without the land, without the water, we have nothing. The Queen, the Mo'ivahine, the Yokalani, left this legacy for you. And we, the kupuna, must rise and stand forth and show for you. We heard all the words today to go and fight for GMO and all the different issues. But the most important is our kingdom. Once we have a kingdom back, all the issues will be taken care of. We are Billy to the Aina, we are Billy to the Vai, and we are Billy to our Mo'olelo and our Mo'okua Hau. Imoe na kupuna, imoe na mo'ivahine, oliliu. Na keiki, mahalo nui ya oko. Nui Kealoha, amama, noa.
On Molokai, we have the Ahakiole, where every ahupua'a has a representative and are responsible for the health and welfare of their peace, their ahupua'a. And I can tell you guys with joy in my heart that it's working right now. We're running them. It's happening. And I feel this year is a turning point It's a game-changing year. Paradigm has shifted. Everybody knows about the kingdom. Everybody knows about what Kamana'o Pono wrote to the Secretary of State. Everybody knows that we have options, all the different sovereign options. So to you and each and every one of you that is still in the crowd today, I do not want to come here to grumble or to blame our politicians. I would encourage each and every one of us to try a little bit harder. To try a little bit harder and let another person, more people know about what is Pono. Today, we start on this pursuit of Pono. There is a lot of blame, there is a lot of piliki and a lot of heva that has happened. But today, if you look around, you look the kids, you look the timing, you look the landscape, I've never seen a more perfect time to go pick opihi. Right? That's our term. Time is now. The window is open. We must get together, stand together, lean on each other, and go protect our aina. So again, before I stop speaking, I just wanted to let you guys know that Molokai is aina momona. Molokai is a place where we can grow food. And Molokai also is a place where we could use some kokua. And in that, I thank you for listening. Thank you for coming over here today. And thank you for being Aina warriors. Aloha. Before I finish, I'm lucky enough. If you look around our circle, we're starting to recognize each other just like this. Now I remember your name. I remember the last time I saw you. I remember what we was fighting for. We was fighting together. And on that note, I love fighting for our aina. So when I met this brother from Kauai, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with his spirit because he loved the aina as much as I do. He like take care of this place for his children. He like make sure that Hawaiians and the style of our kupuna is made present today. I love this brother with all my heart, and I'll go anywhere with him. So I'd like to introduce you guys to my brother, Dustin Barker.
Aloha. Thank you everybody for coming out. I know it's hard to even just come and show up, take one time out of your day. It alone is a sacrifice. And that's what it's gonna take for get any positive change in our lives is sacrifice. And you know, many of you may know I ran for mayor of Kauai this last run, and that was sacrifice at its finest. I put my family, my careers, my jobs, everything on the line for trying to protect my island because, you know, I'm not a politician. I'm just somebody who loves my island so much, I was ready to do anything to protect her. And, you know, I've been through the ropes these last few months, and it's hard to see the light in the end of the tunnel when you see the kind of darkness I've seen. And, you know, with our local politicians on Kauai, their priorities is in the toilet. And I don't have enough toilet paper for the kind of crap these guys are pulling. The only way we're gonna get any positive change is by coming together. No matter what your color is, no matter who you are, no matter what, the only way you're gonna get positive change is by coming together. You know, I see the Hawaiian movement over here, and I see an environmental movement. What is the difference between these white folks and mixed races walking down the roads, fighting for the environment, and everybody on the other side over here who's fighting for the kingdom. What is the difference? Nothing. There is no difference. The Aina is the kingdom. You protect the Aina, you protecting the kingdom. There is no difference. So grab your hippie holy brother by his hand. Grab your hippie holy sisters, Hawaiians, white, Japanese, Portuguese, whatever you are. This is Hawaii. No matter what, get every kind of person here, and that's not going to change. But the only way we're going to get positive action is by coming together. Because, hey, we're not going to kick everybody out of Hawaii. That's going to be hard to do. But if we manage Hawaii, manage our resources, bring our kupuna together. There's all kind of different groups fighting for the same things. Come together. And all you guys up in those offices, get your heads out your okolis, because we're coming. Woo! Mahalo everybody. Aloha.
Who's that? Papa, Peter Tosh. Mumia Abu Jamal getting crucified. And he said, look good. I said, I don't know. He said, Ron, it's Jesus. What, he thought he was white. And I realized I did think he was white because that's what the dominant portrayal of society is. So Kalikoa is really an educator. Kalikoa Kael was infused decolonizing revolutionary ideas into his education, Hawaiian language, Hawaiian studies. One of our great political theorists, educator Kalikoa Kael. Mahalo.
Now you are going Yola ya oi tani tu milono. Oia, oia. Eola. Mai hawa inuia kea. Mai loko mai o puka mai ka moka aina ka la aina tu mea ka pae na kukulo kai. Ha na o maui. Aloha. Ea. 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 Excuse me. Air? Is this air? Air! This is the choice. We all, as Brother Dustin said, we look to the past for guidance. But whether you are Kanaka or Iwi or Isaina, or a newcomer, or Malihini, or you've been here for 40 years. This is the choice. We live it together. Because I know, our kupuna teacher said, when we gone, we get kanu in this kula iwi, in this aina. My iwi gonna be there along with my grandparents and their grandparents. And many of you who call Hawaii your home today, your iwi is going to end up in the same place with mine. And 20 generations, your descendants are going to end up where? With mine. In 100 generations, your descendants are going to end up where? With mine. See, in the end, it's a kako thing. Either we all in together, or we will perish together. See, this is a choice. This is what's been thrown in front of us today. In this house. Come, we go chant down Babylon one more time. Woo! This is a choice.
sustainable. This provides for few. This is sustainable. This provides for all. But the choice is clear. The choice is ours. Our kupuna gave us words, the word ea, as I chanted. Ea mai Hawaii nuia kea. And we know this word ea. Sovereignty, independence, political power. But the meaning of ea, like the mele, the pule, o na tua pau I hanau I ka po I ka hiku, ea, mai ke kai mai. The real meaning of ea is to rise from below, to come up. See, that's us as the people. Yes, we may be dominated now. Yes, maybe we don't have the political power that some of you have. But I tell you something. Those who are guardians of this house here, you're nothing but the representatives of the provisional government that took over our nation in 1893. That's a fact. And the provisional government exists, yes, today. But I'm a firm believer and I have faith in Manao. Like all bad things and evil things, like Babylon, there shall come a day when that shall pass. As Auntie Dawn reminded us, Ihoa no Luna, Piano Lalo, Huiana Namoku, Kuana Kapaya. It's our choice. See, the only problem we have is the problem of apathy. Is the problem of thinking that we in fact are powerless. Is the problem that think what we need to do is just to numb ourselves, whether with drugs or booze or some kind of fake reality. And while we numb ourselves and are apathetic, the few benefit off of our disorganization. You see, that's the point. As long as we are separate, we will maintain ourselves in this position. But I have hope that whether you come, you're an environmentalist, or you fight over issues of GMO, or self-determination, or a healthy food source, or food sovereignty, the only problem we have to really overcome is the unification of our people together. Because once we unify together, it doesn't matter what those who hold power over us think they'll have. Because that day shall come when they'll be forced to release that power to the people of this land. Because see, we don't have any choice. And I tell this to my students as a teacher. Our time is the time. Every one of you are part of this answer. There is no tomorrow. If we don't work together, it is over. Whether it's global warming, whether we'll be eating out of tin cans for the rest of our lives, whether it's going to be like in Pohakuloa with depleted uranium. See, that's the future. And the only reason they do this to us is because of our refusal and our inability to organize together. So I'm asking everyone here, let's make that commitment to work together, to say we want a future for all our children, a future of health of the land, a future of sustainability, a future of food sovereignty, a future where we educate ourselves in a way which produces children that are highly educated, that understand ea o kaina. And I know I'm supposed to talk about Maui, so I'll get into that right now real quickly. The first issue on Maui, a big issue to me, is the issue of the water. See, people, you can talk about agriculture and growing our own food, but if you get no water, see, Kupuna gave us the answer, why? Water is wealth. And those who control the water control the wealth. Those who control the water control the future, not just of our land, but our grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren to come. So yes, on Maui, we had a small victory enforcing in Navajeha, enforcing some of the water back into the streams according to the courts. But yet, several months back, many Hawaiians had went out to watch the re-release of some water, minimum stream flow, whatever that is. And as you saw the water trickle down, they realized the water never reached the ocean. That's the truth. See, to me, that's an environmental crime. That's a crime against humanity. For millions of years, these waters ran from the mountain to the sea. And in the small fisheries and in the reefs, see, Hawaiians understand it's the muliwai, the white kind, where life begins. Life begins from the mixing of fresh and salt water. But when you prevent that from occurring, you see, that is killing us as a people. And instead, the water has been removed. You know, something like 30 out of 32 streams of West Maui, the waters are diverted. That's a fact even to this day. And then you have East Maui. Every day, think about this, the amount of water taken out of East Maui equals all the domestic water used on this island. Think how much water that's used to promote more speculative construction and development on Maui. Not for housing for the people, but for speculators who come to pillage, who come to, as brother said, to rape the resources. You know, how many swimming pools and how many hot tubs do you need? This future is something that we must all confront together. The next big issue, of course, are these multinational foreign chemical corporations who pretend to be agricultural enthusiasts. And their main purpose, of course, is not to feed the people, but to poison our lands, to grow mainly crops like corn, as brother said, that you don't even eat in Hawaii, to be taken to other places like Iowa and Nebraska for the use to make ethanol so you can put more, when that bring back into it, so put it in a gas tank. These are not foods to be eaten. See, that's the lie. Those resources belong to, and I would say, you know, for me, the GMO issue isn't the issue. The GMO issue is really just the effects of what the main problem is. The main problem is that we're not growing food for ourselves. It's not whether the GMOs are good or bad. The answer is, what are we going to be planting there anyway? See, that's the answer. That's the idea we must come in our heads. We don't approach this, we're just wondering what some scientists in Chicago and European scientists are arguing over, whether it's safe or not, or how much poison is good or not. For me, the answer has always been, how do we feed ourselves? The word aloha aina, everybody, aloha aina. Now the word aloha, it's not just when, you know, I feel good, something, you know. I get chicken skin, aloha aina. The word aloha aina is a verb. Aloha is a verb, it's a thing to do. The way you aloha aina, of course, is to produce food for your people. The word aina, that which feeds us. That which feeds us and sustains us. That is the practice of aloha aina. So at the core of the revival, really, of our people is the question of how do we feed ourselves? How do we protect those resources? How do we get those waters to run again into our streams? So if people talk about, oh, there's overfishing and not enough fish in the sea. Yes, I agree. You get some greedy people out there who probably take more than they should. But I know the greatest impact to our fisheries is the lack of fresh water flowing into the ocean. Any Hawaiian understands that this is a systematic crime. This isn't just about making sure you have colorful fish so some tourists with some suntan oil can go and look at colorful fish. Fisheries is about feeding the people. I'm going to skip past the later parts. The other issues, of course, to me is Haleakala on Maui. As brother had said, tied right along with Mount Nakea, and our sacred mountain of Haleakala is currently occupied by various ventures. The largest Department of Defense telescope sits on Haleakala. The largest Department of Defense telescope sits on Haleakala. Part of this great military scheme to control all of the Pacific. The largest and most powerful military computer connected on the Araka is held in Kihei. So many people in Maui think that we have this kind of free, demilitarized zone, but yet we're actually the heart and soul of the military occupation of these islands. So when people talk about, oh, weapons of mass destruction out in Iraq and Afghanistan, well, let me tell you, the weapons of mass destruction are here in these lands. The most powerful weaponry ever tested has been tested in the Pacific. They never tested nuclear weapons in Europe. How many of you guys know Rongola, Inowata, Bikini? It's the Pacific people who have been held as guinea pigs. And we refuse to be held as guinea pigs anymore. So companies like Monsanto, Mysogen, these are no different than its military ideas, which is to look at the people of the Pacific as nothing more than guinea pigs for their profit motives as profiteers. And let me just end by talking a little bit about the fact that we must question this. How the hell in a place like Hawaii we import bananas? As Brother Ali Katai Maui reminded us, that is a crime of a sickness when you have such productive lands and we gotta import bananas. Something is wrong. Somebody's making a lot of money off of this system. It's also a crime to think about the amount of bottled water. We have imported bottled water into these lands. That is also a crime to think that our streams should be running clear and free. I grew up at a time where you actually drank water from the fountains in school. Today the teachers will tell you, make sure your child brings a bottle of water to school. You see how they shape the mentality of us into thinking of a commodity, to think of us as people who just purchase and buy. And vegetables, to think about, we have huge areas of land. Look at the lawn, look at nice lawn out here I see. How come we don't have papaya trees? We don't have lychee trees. Yeah, we don't have banana trees, mango trees, all growing. Instead of grass, let's put some food into this land. And let me just say, the way I look at this, we must remind ourselves that we in Hawaii, we are in the middle of the Pacific, the largest body of water. And I'd say we're not just the Pacific, but we're in the middle of this world. And we're in the middle of this universe. We, Hawaii, this little place of peoples of different races, of different backgrounds, living upon this Kulai'i, of our people, the Kanaka. It is us. When you look at what's going on in the world today, I have no doubt in believing that we together, we unified, in spirit, organized, can teach the world how to fight against the most powerful companies out there. We must not forget, the most powerful military is here in Hawaii. The most powerful chemical companies are here in Hawaii. And if we can unite together to work along, and I invite all of you here, those within this house here of the provisional government, to work with the people, I believe we have a chance for a better future, not just for Hawaii, but for the world. Aloha.
That is the kind of people, Kanakas like them, that walk the talk, but make their children go and get the education and go back to the land. We have been fed today with the spirit of the true Kanaka. The people up here who do not come and listen to our voices, that's okay. Because our ancestors will kukulu, the aina, will crawl on the land to seep into these people. So let's pulikako. E nā kua nā aumakua nā kupuna. E ho mai nā mo I wahine o lili o kalani. E ue I ka wahine, wahala I kalani. Ho mai no I nā kupuna, ho mai no I nā akua. Kukulu I nā aina, kukulu I loko I ka I ka hale o Hawaii State Capitol. I loko I na manao, I na puwai, I na au, I na uhane, I na kane na wahine, e ku I ka aina ia oko. E hau mai kai na kanaka, e noho mali na aina ma Hawaii nei. E ue na kane na wahine na keiki, I ka aina o Hawaii, a ka ho'o manawa nui. Holo holo ana I na aina, ho'olohe no I na mo'olelo na mo'okua hao na kupuna, e na makua e na keiki, e hana no na ia oko. Mahalo nui loa I na kane na wahine, e homai no I ke ia la. Nui ke aloha, amama, wanoa, amene. I'd like to explain to you who don't understand. Number one, I'm not a native speaker. Number two, I'm inspired by the spirits of my ancestors. So whenever I speak, it's their inspiration. This is an example of a country who has taken away the leo of my people. I am 70 years old. And yet, my mother, my grandfather could not speak Hawaii, Olelo Hawaii. We must stand together, all of us who live in Hawaii. And more importantly, please, those who believe it's a blood quantum or it has to do with blood, it's not. It's about people, you and I, working together to keep Hawaii for all of us. So mahalo to Walter Reed and his group to allow us to come today. And mahalo to all of you for the spirit you bring. And to all the legislators in this house, homai na kanaka, homai na kapai aina mga vaine, homai no, na uhane na kupuna, iloko na manao, na puwai na au ya oko. Amama, na!